good. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that with us today. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about water. I know you've heard some statistics. About 70% of the human body is made of water. Maybe you've heard that, maybe you haven't. The body is kind of like water. It's a salty fluid that runs around within our bodies, in our veins, it's in our cells. It's a part of our arteries, the space between the blood vessels. There's so much water in these bodies that we have. Besides ridding the body of toxins, water helps us to reduce sodium buildup in the body, maintains proper muscle tone. Water helps us to maintain normal body temperature. Water acts as a solvent for vitamins and minerals. It does work within the cells. Therefore, it's important to replace water. I hope you know every minute of the day you're losing water. Water is constantly evaporating from our very being, and we can't survive without it. We have to have water for our bodies to be able to survive. 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. 75%, that was amazing. Most people are not drinking enough water, not getting enough water in the system. Instead, we drink things like coffee, tea, sodas, which actually remove water from the body. You know your body can tell if it's drinking water or tea. And if it's drinking tea, it doesn't absorb like it does if you just drink plain water. They found that one glass of water before you go to bed will stop nighttime hunger pains. And almost 100% of dieters, one glass of water before bed keeps you from being hungry in the middle of the night. A lack of water is the #1 trigger for daytime fatigue. So if you're feeling a little bit tired during the day and you need a little boost, you don't need a little caffeine, you need a little bit of water. You just need to drink a little bit of water. It'll boost your energy. A mere 2% drop in body water can trigger fuzzy short-term memory. It can give you trouble with basic math skills, and you can have difficulty focusing on your computer, on the printed page, or what somebody else is saying. And I was so concerned today that you wouldn't hear what I had to say because 75% of you are dehydrated. We gave you all a bottle of water. So drink something, get hydrated, so you'll remember what I'm saying today, right? It's not just about that. But water is such an important part of our lives, and it's for far more than drinking. Think about all the things we do with water. We wash our plates, we wash our cars, we wash our siding, we wash our children, our clothes, we wash our hands, our tables, our floors, and according to moms, we need to wash behind our ears. You ever wonder why that is? Why do they say wash behind your ears? Wash behind your ears. We use water for play, we use water to swim in, we use water for boating, for fishing, for skiing, we dive into it, we climb out of it, we dive into it again. Cotton ball! If you were here last week. We fill our pools with it, we fill our hot tubs with it, we fill our bathtubs with it. Moms! Calgon, take me away! Right? That was the advertisement years ago. Put a little bath salts in the water and everything gets better. And we still know that because how many Americans travel to water for a place of vacation? And we want to go to the beach, we want to go to the sea, we want some kind of water around us. There's something that brings peace into our souls when we hear the waves crashing upon the shore. So much so that Peggy's got a little thing she turns on at night when we go to bed, and you hear the waves crashing in our bedroom every night when we go to sleep. We build homes close to it, we vacation near it, we even search for planets that have water, because we know this: if there is no water, there is no life. See, that's one thing science has proved, that you have to have water to have life. Now, we're going to begin this journey in the book of Mark, and I find it interesting that the book of Mark begins in such a different fashion than every other book of the Gospels that we have. Matthew starts out with this big line of genealogy, and he wants to make sure that you know that Jesus can be traced clear back to King David and clear back to Adam. He gives his descent through Abraham. Luke, he wants to make sure you know that there were angels present when Jesus was born in Bethlehem. There was no room for him in the inn. And John wants to make sure that you get this picture in your mind that he is the pre-incarnate God that was beginning in the creation of time, the one who made everything. And Mark totally avoids all of that, and he starts with water. He starts on this whole issue of water. He starts right away with talking to us about baptism. The beginning of the good news about Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, as is written in Isaiah the prophet. I will send my messenger ahead of you who will prepare a way, a voice of one calling in the wilderness. Prepare a way for the Lord. Make straight paths for him. And so John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness, preaching a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sin. I really find it interesting that Mark begins with some kind of odd words. The beginning of the good news. Just catch that. The beginning of the good news. It's almost like Mark is saying that before Jesus, there was no good news. Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, is the beginning of the good news. And maybe that is true. Because before that, what did we have? We had people living in a garden who sinned, who couldn't keep the one command that they were supposed to keep, who blew just the one thing, got kicked out of the garden. Painful labor ensues, lots of weeds grow up, hate and strife, death between the first two brothers, and it just continued on from there, didn't it? Downhill, broken lives, broken relationships. Broken relationships with people, but broken relationships also with the King of the universe. And the problem was not being clean. That's literally the issue. It's this cleaning. The funny thing about the book of Leviticus is it always talks about cleaning. It always talks about washing. It always talks about getting things right. Cleaning the hands, cleaning the feet, cleaning the cups, cleaning the saucers, washing the sacrifice before it's offered. And then even after the lamb is split open and the insides are pulled out, they have to wash the kidneys and the livers before they can stick them on the altar and have them burned. Water, cleansing, cleaning is everywhere. And people want to be clean. There's something inside of us that wants to be right with God. There's something that causes us to want to feel holy, to feel right. And there was a temporary fix. God did give a temporary fix. It was called the temple. It was the place where people would go and have their sins forgiven. They'd take a goat, they'd take a sheep, they'd take a bull, they'd take a lamb, they'd take a dove, they would take grain, they would take money, they would give something in exchange for the sin that they had committed. And depending upon the sin, would depend on what kind of sacrifice that you were going to offer that day. And then one day a year, there was the day of atonement. And it was the day that all of the sins of all the Israelites were forgiven. One day, the priest would enter the most holy place and take the sacrifice for the forgiveness of all of the people's sins over the entire people of Israel. It was a great day. It was a great day of great feasting and festival. And they remembered that their sins had been forgiven. Atonement. At one meant. It meant you were at one with God. That's what that day was all about. It was about bringing that relationship back together that had been destroyed by sin. But you know the problem? The problem is it's hard for people to quit sinning. Have you ever noticed that about yourself? It seems like when you just think you got things straightened out, that this little sin creeps into your life. And how long can you actually go without sinning? How long can you go before you step across the line? How long can you go before you don't do something that God wanted you to do? So you got this beautiful day. You have this day of atonement. Your sins have been forgiven. You get up the next day and decide you have bacon and eggs for breakfast. And everything you know you can't have bacon. But the bacon is so darn good. So one day later, you've already blown it. And that holiness that you felt, that peace because your sins have been forgiven, is all of a sudden gone. You're unclean again. So you need another sacrifice. And you go and you make another one, you feel good. And then Mother's Day comes around and Mom wants you to go to her house for lunch. But when you go to her house for lunch, it's too many steps to take on the Sabbath. And so you got to ask yourself, am I going to honor my mother? Or am I going to honor God's law? But if I honor God's law and I don't do what my mom says, I've broken God's law. So what do I do? That's the struggle. It's the struggle with law. That's the struggle with all of these laws that have been given. They're there to make us clean. They're there to help us to be right, but we just can't be. So something has to die. Something has to die. Something is always dying. There was always blood in the temple because man couldn't keep the relationship. Sin kept costing you. It cost you from your herds. It cost you from your grain. It cost you time to go to the temple. It cost you money to offer a sacrifice. To feel clean cost you, but only lasted a little while. And then Mark says, the beginning of the good news. Mark says, I got good news. Mark says, let me tell you some good news. From the life of Jesus, before that, there wasn't good news. But now because Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God has come, there is good news. Just think about the name for a minute. Just think about the name. Jesus, the name given by angels to the Son of Mary. The name that is above every name. The name that heals the sick. The name that casts out demons. The name that lets the blind to see and the deaf to hear. The name that created bread and fish. The name that stopped a raging sea. The name that made hell tremble. The name that raised the dead. Jesus! Messiah, the anointed one, the one mentioned in the Old Testament, the one that would free the captives of Israel, the one that would vanquish every foe, the one who would set up a kingdom that would never end, the one who was seated on the throne, the one that had power to forgive sins, the one who would let the prisoners free, the one that was the Savior of the world, the one who would descend into hell, that would take the keys from Satan, would ascend into heaven, would stand in the presence of God, would intercede for the saints, the anointed one, Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, second member of the Trinity, co-equal with God in every way, present in the creation process, the one who through all things were made, fully God, with all of his power, completely sinless from the beginning of time, the uncreated one, the one who would speak and make things come into existence, the one that could look into your heart and know who you really were, the one who could judge the quick and the dead, the one who was seated on an everlasting throne, the one who was surrounded by a myriad of angels, the one who has 24 elders bowing before him, the one who's worthy of power and wealth and wisdom and strength and glory and honor and praise forever and ever and ever. Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. Amen. That's who we're talking about today. Before him, there was no good news. But when Jesus came, there was good news. That's the beginning of the good news. That's the beginning of it. You see, the good news is not about a broken people. The good news is not about a broken temple. The good news is not about the sinfulness of man. The good news is about Jesus. We so often want to make it all about us. But it's not all about us. It's all about him. It's all about him. And we would know when Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, would come when we saw a messenger. I'll send my messenger ahead of you who will prepare a way. A voice of one calling out in the wilderness, prepare a way. And the nephew of Mary, the mother of Jesus, the son of a father who was a high priest, who stood in the presence of God, who actually got to go behind the veil and see the Holy of Holies. Once a year, one person got to go to that place. Once a year, just one person. And John the Baptist's dad was one of those guys. One of the chosen few that ever saw the presence of God in the Holy of Holies. The forerunner of Christ shows up. This guy named John, preaching in the wilderness, wearing camel's hair, a leather belt, eating locusts and wild honey. Everybody would want to go see, right? I mean, it's kind of like a freak show out in the wilderness. Yet people are coming to him for a baptism of repentance. Baptism. Now that word baptismo in Greek, it's so evident in the Jewish culture. They know what that word means. It means a rite involving water. It means to be dipped. To be dipped in water. And whenever you talk about water, the Jewish people knew exactly what we were talking about. Let me give you a little picture here. This is what the temple would look like. Solomon's temple. There's the place of the sacrifice, and you have the temple. The first half, the first 3/4 of the temple proper is the holy place where they would go. And then there's a curtain, and then the Holy of Holies would be behind that. But up in the front corner, you see this basin. It's called a laver. The laver was a place of water. They would put water there. Before you could do anything in the temple, before you could do anything in the holy place or the most holy place, before you could ever offer a sacrifice, you had to go to the laver and you had to wash. Washing was required. Ceremonial washing was needed before a sacrifice was ever given. Ceremonial washing was an act of getting yourself clean so you were ready to offer a sacrifice. So it's interesting, though, that Jewish people were only required to wash their hands. Gentile people had to wash everything. Why is that? Why is that? Going back to 300 BC, we have reports to where Gentile people would go down into the waters and they would be baptized. They would make an agreement that they would follow the 10 Commandments and the 600 plus laws. The men would be circumcised, and then they would take them and they would dip them in water called baptism to make them holy. So baptism was a Gentile thing to make them Jewish. It was a Gentile thing that would bring them into the Jewish family. You would be considered then a son of Abraham once you had been baptized. So baptism is a way for a Gentile to become Jewish, but baptism was not to be a part of the family of God. The children of Abraham were not to be baptized. They were God's citizens. They were already part of the family. They didn't need to be dipped. They were born into the family. The rest of them had to be brought into the family. But something amazing happens in this text. The whole Judean countryside and all the people of Jerusalem went out to John, confessing their sins. They were baptized by him in the Jordan River. The whole Judean countryside and the people of Jerusalem. They know who lives in Judea and Jerusalem? Jewish people. The children of Abraham. The descendants of the 12 tribes. That's who's present there. The people that are supposed to go to the temple to get right with God. Those are the people that are living there. Good people, descendants of Abraham, people who had washed at the laver, people who had taken sacrifices to the altar, the ones that had been forgiven. They were coming to John the Baptist to be forgiven for their sins by repentance and water baptism. There's something wrong with the scene. You hear me? There's something wrong. This gospel, there's something wrong. Something is going wrong. It wasn't the sinful Gentile being washed and cleansed. It was the children of God, the children who had been forgiven, the children who had watched the lambs being slaughtered at the altar. They were the ones. And I think they were looking for something. I think these children of Israel were looking for something. They had seen the beautiful temple. They had worshipped in Solomon's colonnade. They had walked to the bronze altar. They had washed in the laver. They saw the blood flow for the forgiveness of sins. They knew what the Spirit of God resided behind the veil in the Holy of Holies. They had heard the priest speaking. They saw the Levites taking care of the temple. They witnessed the temple treasuries. They beheld the robes of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They heard the book of the law read by the scribes. They had been told the stories about God's presence, how he was brought into the temple, how he was behind a 4-inch thick veil of fabric. They remembered that there was a covenant with the people of Israel. And they left that to go down to a dirty little creek with a man dressed in camel's hair who was eating locust and wild honey to be dipped in dirty water. You see the problem? You see the issue at the beginning of this? He starts this story, and it's just like every Jew's going, there's something wrong. Something wrong. What's wrong is the temple's broken. The temple wasn't doing what it had been designed to do. The people were looking for something that they just couldn't find in the temple. And I think they're looking for the same thing that all humankind's been looking for ever since. We all want to get back to the garden. We all want to get back to the right relationship with the Father.
Amen.
We all want to get back to the place where we can come into the presence of our dad and hang out with him forever. And the temple was not restoring the broken relationship. The temple was broken, and some days I wonder if the church isn't broken too. I wonder sometimes if the church isn't broken. How do you know? How do you know if the church is broken? How do you know if a church is broken? A blogger asked that question a number of years ago to churchgoers. He sent out on his blog a question to people all across the United States. Almost every state in our nation answered back to him about how do you know if your church is broken. And he took the top 10 answers and he put them on his blog. Let me give them to you. Number 10, you know your church is broken when you can't find community. Number 9, when there's too much drama. Number 8, when there's lots of conflict. Number 7, when the leaders become controlling. Number 6, when the church is full of cliques. Number 5, when everyone is required to look like everyone else. Number 4, when politics comes into the church. Number 3, when people are not authentic. Number 2, when you go to church and you're lonely. And I can talk about all of those first 9, because all of them were happening back in the Jewish temple. All of them were part of Judaism. In the temple, there was no community. There was lots of drama in the temple. Conflicts between the religious leaders was the main story. They were becoming controlling in every part of life. There were the clique of the Pharisees, the clique of the Sadducees, the cliques of the priests, the cliques of the Levites. No Gentiles allowed. Church was all about Rome and talked about Rome and worried about Rome. And they didn't do what they said, and people were getting left out. We could talk about all of those, right? I think they're all decent conversation points, but that wasn't number one. That wasn't the one thing that American Christians said that you would know that the church was broken. The number one answer across all the states in our nation was this. You know the church is broken when you go to church and you can't find Jesus. You know the church is broken when you go to church and you can't find Jesus. When you go to church and you can't get closer to God. When you go to church and you're not in His presence. This is what Christians think when they think that the church is broken. Israel was being forgiven of their sins, but they were not feeling any closer to their Creator, and something wasn't right. Something was missing, and what was missing was a relationship. God was behind the veil, and no matter how hard they tried, they were never allowed to get there. Let me show you a picture of the Holy of Holies. You see the priest standing at the altar of incense. They would burn incense every day, but they were only allowed to go into the most holy place once a year. Beside him is the lampstand with 7 candles, and there's the table of showbread. And then you see that veil that would be between the holy place and the most holy place. It's 4 inches thick, but it's not a 4-inch thick piece of fabric. It's 4 inches of layers of fabric. There's layer after layer after layer after layer. And the high priest is chosen by lot to go into the most holy place. He would open up the first layer, and he would go behind it, and he had to find the next fold. And then he would open that fold up, and he would find the next one. And then he would open up that one, and he would find the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And he would be on this journey to try to get through 4 inches of fabric that's hanging. And every time he would get through the next one, he would wonder, am I going to see the presence of the Lord? Am I going to come into the Holy of Holies? Is this the layer? Is this the layer? Is this? They hadn't been there before. This is a first for them. And they're getting ready to come into the presence of God. And then in one moment, the last would open up, and there it was. Right in front of their eyes. Just for one. And just once a year. And to be that person, you had to be a religious leader. To be chosen. So, people would come to the temple, but they would never come to the presence of God. It's sad when people go to church and they can't get to the presence of Jesus. Sad day when the church wakes up and realizes that Jesus hasn't been in worship in years. So people are leaving this religion hoping for a relationship with God. And I think today that people are leaving churches by the droves because they're looking for a relationship. They're looking for something. There's something in them that's missing. There's this hole that they just simply can't be able to fill. And they try to fill it there. They leave the church and they start looking. And they start filling the hole with drugs, or sex, or possessions, or cats, or cars, or alcohol, or chocolate. They're looking for something. They want something. And they can't find it, so they begin stuffing themselves with something to try to fill an emptiness that's within them. And the Jews were trying to fill an emptiness that was inside of them. It happens too often in America today. I think people have felt that something's missing in my faith. And a bunch of rules hasn't brought them to a deeper relationship with God. Going to a church where you have to dress right, and talk right, and act right, and pray right, and sing right. It's not helping them. They walk away. So many churches are all about self-help. And look at me, and it's all about you. And it's all about Jesus.
Amen.
It's all about Jesus. When we get away from it all being about Jesus, we've missed the point. We've totally missed the point. So the best of the best were allowed to come to the presence of God, but nobody else could find Jesus there. But then one day, At that time, Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee and was baptized by John in the Jordan. Just as Jesus was coming up out of water, he saw heaven being torn open and the Spirit descending on him like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." All the people are leaving the temple and they're coming down to the Jordan to be baptized. And at the same time that they're all coming down to be baptized, Jesus is coming from over here to the same place that they're at. Jesus wants to meet you where you are. He didn't expect him to be where he was at. He came to where the people were coming. The people are flooding out of Israel, flooding out of Judea, flooding out of the temple. They're coming to this grid. And Jesus says, I'm going to get there. I'm going to come and see him. I'm going to be with them. I want to hang out with my people. These are my people. The people are baptized. They're dipped under the water for repentance, for the forgiveness of sins. I think here's Jesus, the perfect Son of God who has never sinned. Why is he going under the water? You read these commentators that, so studious. Well, it's the beginning of Jesus' ministry. And maybe so. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm too simplistic in my thinking. But there's no place in the Bible that says that baptism is the beginning of a ministry. That's not what it's about. Baptism is a trading, right? When you go into the waters of baptism, you're trading your life for Jesus. You're saying, Jesus, you died for me, and I want to change. I want what you got. Have you ever thought that maybe Jesus was baptized? Say, look, God, I want what they've got. I want what they got. I want to take their sins. I want to substitute my life for their life. Isn't it interesting that the beginning of the good news isn't about Jesus' death? The beginning of the good news was about Jesus' baptism. And when we're baptized, we take Jesus upon ourselves. And I think the day that Jesus went into that water, he took us on himself. It was the day that a trade took place. And we needed someone to trade their life for us. And God was so excited about that moment. Look what it says. It says that he tore open heaven. And the Spirit descended on him like a dove. And he said, "This is my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." At that moment, God was so excited that his Son would come and take our place that he had to bust heaven open and say, "That's my boy! That's my boy!" He couldn't hold it back any longer. And he tore heaven open. He tore heaven open because Jesus would restore a relationship that had been broken. Aaron, how do you know that? Because there's only two places in the entire book of Mark that talk about something being torn open. The first thing that we see torn open is heaven. Here's the second thing that we see torn open in the book of Mark. With a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn into from top to bottom. Isn't it interesting? Every good sermon starts someplace and ends at the same place. And John does it, or Mark does. He does it so well. He starts with God tearing heaven open. And he ends it with Jesus tearing the veil open. I am so proud of my Son. Dad, I'm going to let you come to their presence again. You see, they hadn't been able to get there. No one could get there but the best of the best of the best. The chosen ones, the few, the religious. And Jesus said, that's not good enough. Heaven is not for the few. Heaven's for the masses. I'm opening it up to everyone. I want everyone to know my presence. And he ripped it from top to bottom saying, God, here's your children. Let them come in. Let them come in. Amen. That day we were all invited. We were all invited to know God. We're all invited back into that relationship. And I find it interesting that the next story tells us that everyone is invited. As Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. You know, fishermen was the most common lot. It was what everybody did. It was what you did if you couldn't do anything else. Bottom of the barrel, lowest on the food chain. And Jesus invited them to be disciples. He didn't invite the high priest. He didn't invite the Pharisee. He didn't invite the Sadducee. He didn't invite the religious leader. He didn't invite the guy who was making sacrifice in the temple. He invited two fishermen. And then Mark goes on. He invites a leper, a blind man, a deaf man, and a kid that's filled with demons. and a bunch of little children. He invites the sick, the lame, and the hurting, and the outcast, the people that nobody liked, the people that nobody wanted. He said, come and follow me. Come and follow me. Just come and follow me. And if he invited people like that, to come into his presence, see, not invited people like us. The good news is not that the holy and religious get to go in to see Jesus. The good news is everyone's now been invited. The only question that we are. There was a day a number of years ago for most of you that you walked into the waters of baptism and you asked Jesus to take your place. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you forgot that you asked Jesus to take your place. Maybe you've been living your life like you're not saved. Maybe you've been living your life like everybody else in the world has their life. And that's not the call we made. That's not the decision we made. We made a decision to be a Christ follower, right? Christ follower. Maybe today you just need to be reminded of your baptism. And today's the day that you need to be reminded of your baptism. I just want you to take a little bit of water. I want you to take that water. I want you to put on your head as a reminder. Just remember that the Lord died for you, and you took his life upon yours, and he took your life upon his. Maybe today it's not about your baptism. Maybe today you know that you've been forgiven, and you're good with your baptism, because you sinned. And you need to be reminded that Jesus forgives you. So maybe today you take a little bit of water on your hands. You remember that sin that you've struggled with, that you know God's forgiven you for, but you haven't been able to forgive yourself yet. Maybe today you just need to wash your hands and say, Lord, I know you are a God who forgives, and your word says, if I confess my sin, that you are faithful and just, to forgive me my sin, you will cleanse me. Cleanse me. All unrighteousness. Amen. See, God's already forgiven you. You just need to forgive him. Maybe you just need a little reminder that water has washed you clean. Maybe today you know that God's been calling you to do something for his kingdom, and universally in the church, a sign of knowing that you've been called is to put a cross on your forehead. The anointing from God, that God wants to do something special. Maybe today you know that God's got a call on your life. Maybe it's to teach a Sunday school class, or to lead a women's study. Maybe the call on your life is to preach once in a while, as Paul. Maybe the call on your life is to go to visit somebody who's sick, somebody who needs a hand up. Maybe you just want to accept that calling that God's got for you. And you just want to say, God, I'm going to accept that calling you got in my life. Maybe today you need to remember that God's called you to be the greatest, but God's called you to be the least. You need to be reminded today that you want to be a servant of your family. You need to pour a little bit of water on their feet. You need to be willing for the rest of your life to take up the call to serve them. If today's just the day to lean around somebody that you love and care for, I'm going to do today what I know I'm supposed to do, what I've been called to do, what I've been set apart to do, and that's to be a servant of this family. I'm not doing this because I'm going to be the greatest. I'm doing this today because I'm going to be the least. Maybe today you just need a fresh filling. The Bible says this. It says that if we're a tree planted next to living water, we'll bear fruit in and out of season. So maybe today you just need a little more. A lot more, Jesus. A little's not enough. A little's not enough. A little bit of Jesus is not enough. It's amazing that God gave us water. Just a little water to remember. Let's sing a song today. I hope during that 5 minutes, you'll decide to do something with that bottle. Grace, you guys can stay where you're at today. Because you may want to do something with this message as well. Father, I just want to thank you that heart begins with a little water. It changes the world. I ask for a little water to change our world today. A little water. To change our world. In Jesus' name.